What up? It's your boy, It's raining a little bit. Today we're going to talk about hip-hop again. I wouldn't say again. When I say again, I don't mean I talked about it recently, but I haven't talked about it recently. So that's why I said it again. Let's just talk about the Takeoff album real quick. Okay, so Takeoff dropped The Last Rocket last Friday morning, Thursday night. See, I don't know if I said this before, but since I live in the South, I live in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our time is different. So when somebody says they dropping something Friday at midnight, when I'm up, it's 11. So usually albums drop Thursday night for me instead of Friday morning. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, that's irrelevant. Let's talk about Takeoff album. I like Takeoff album for a very different reason than why I would like somebody else's album. First of all, I like Takeoff. I think Takeoff is one of the best Migos. I think it's close between him and Offset. Sometimes I lean towards Takeoff, sometimes I lean towards Offset. It depends on the song, depends on the vibe. I think Offset has a better rapping voice. Like, I think he's more interesting rapping voice than Takeoff, but I think Takeoff has better verses sometimes, picks better flows sometimes, and he sometimes he can be the better lyricist, I guess I can say. Now, that's not the reason why I like this album. I like the album because of the vibes it gave me, right? When I listen to an album, I listen to it 3 different ways actually. All right, the first way, look, I'm just chilling at home. I want to listen to some music. This song comes on, I'm not changing it. That's one of the ways. I listen to albums twice. You listen to albums 2 times, just in different environments to know how I'm really feeling it. Okay, so first of all, I'm listening to it on the first try to be like, okay, how many songs are these that I'm willing to listen to in the gym, or listen to just randomly, like doing something with my headphones on. That's how I pick my thumbs up. On second listen, I usually play it in my car while I'm driving to see how it rides. You know what I'm saying? Certain albums are good to keep in your headphones, but are not good to drive in with. You know what I'm saying? Now, nothing's wrong. I don't feel you should ever be ashamed of whatever music you listen to in your car, because it's your car and it don't matter. But some songs just feel weird listening to driving. I feel like an artist who kind of has that similar music is Eminem. Eminem's my favorite rapper. Know what I'm saying? I like listening to his music. Some of his songs, not because they don't sound good in the car, but it's just, it's Eminem. So he's talking about some wild stuff. I live in the suburbs now. Well, even if I still lived in the city, it probably would still be weird. I like Eminem because he's a great rapper. He's funny. You know what I'm saying? He's witty, clever, all that. But I don't want to be pulling up to somebody's house and all you hear is just somebody talking about raping my own mother. He's raping his own mother and he just had the Rolling Stone cover. Like, that's weird. I don't want, because then people will look at me like, what type of mess is he listening to? You know what I'm saying? I like Eminem, but that's just, that is weird. Takeoff's album, back to Takeoff's album. He had the album sounded good. Nice beats, nice bop, nice vibe to it. Lyrically, this was Culture 2 without the other 2. You know what I'm saying? If you take off, no pun intended, if you take off, damn, my shoulder hurt. If you take off, Offset's verse and Quavo's verses off of Culture 2 and just left Takeoff's verses on there, you pretty much got this album. To be honest with you. it rides really good. Like, a lot of the songs I had done because the production is good. They bump nice. Like, a lot of great stuff. But if we talking lyrically, you know what I'm saying, that I am the guy who talks lyrically. This is Culture 2 without the other two. This is Culture 2 without Quavo and Offset's verses. And that's kind of the problem I was talking about earlier. Earlier this year, when Culture 2 dropped, I said the Migos needed to take a break because their music's starting to get repetitive and you can pretty much predict what they're going to talk about. I said that the similar thing happened to Future. Future's music started sounding the same. His subject matter didn't switch up as much, and people can pretty much predict any Future song. You know what I'm saying? And I said the Migos need to like take a good 6 months to a year, live life, enjoy their money. They be on tour most of the time, but I'm pretty sure I hear that they freestyle everything, so it kind of makes sense. Because if money, clothes, hoes, cars is the first thing that pop in their head, that's all they're gonna talk about. But you know what I'm saying? I said it before. Take 6 to 9 months. Isolate yourself. Kind of separate yourself. Get your pen and just write. Write. Tell us some interesting stories. They don't even have to be personal stories. Like, give us a concept of something. Give us a theme. Tell us how you feel about certain things going on in the world. We don't know none of your political. We don't have to know your political view, but we don't know nothing about y'all except that y'all rich and young. Like, that's the issue. I like the album. I like driving and listening to it. That Infatuation song, oh my God. That song is amazing. That's the best song on the whole album, in my opinion, is Infatuation. But it's not a bad album. It's just it's not any different than Culture 2. Culture 2 was like 25 songs. So it got boring really fast. And because they was talking about the same thing. The beats kept it up, but when you talk about the same thing, at least this one, none of the songs was over 4 minutes. It was like a 35-minute album, so it didn't feel like you were sitting there forever listening to it, like I felt like with Culture 2. And that's kind of why I like it better than Culture 2, is because it wasn't as long, it wasn't as drawn out, and Infatuation was just an amazing song, and that kind of boosted it up for me. But yeah, I still feel the Migos should take a break, lock themselves in a room for a couple months, and just write and come up with different concepts, themes, flows, work on some rhyme schemes, vocal inflections. You know what I'm saying? Think of some more witty bars, like study the craft, watch some battle. Like, I think the Migos would be super fire if they worked on being more lyrical, being more, because they perfected flowing. If they can be lyrical with the flows, they will be nasty. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for me, man. If y'all have any thoughts on this, y'all comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I always forget to say this. What y'all thought about Takeoff album? And what's a song what's a rapper that y'all feel is good at bumping in the whip, and a rapper that y'all feel don't have I wouldn't say don't have good music to bump in the whip. They have good music, but you feel kind of weird bumping them in the whip. I said Eminem, even though he's my favorite rapper. Hearing him raping his own mother and getting a Rolling Stone cover, it's weird when people looking in your car and trying to listen to what you listening to. But anyways, that's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet, deuces.